Hi, church family. It's Maundy Thursday, and Maundy Thursday, Maundy's not a word that we typically utilize in our vernacular today. And when I was younger, or when I first heard it, I remember thinking they were saying Monday, Thursday, and I didn't quite understand. But Maundy is a word that we get from, it's derived from Latin meaning mandatum. We know it as mandate. And for us as believers, it's to be understood as commands. And so we're going to be looking at a couple of passages that are commands that Jesus gave his disciples as he's preparing to die and on the cross. And so the first one begins in Luke's Gospel, chapter 22. It's Jesus taking the Last Supper. Again, on Palm Sunday, we partook of our communion. We know it as communion, Lord's Supper. They would have known it as their Passover meal. And so they're just having their wine, their unleavened bread, and Jesus breaks it. He tells them, drink the wine, and in doing so, this represents my blood that's going to be shed. The breaking of the bread is going to represent my body being broken as a sacrifice. And so they partake, and then Jesus tells them in verse 19, do this in remembrance of me. And that's where we get one of our ordinances of the church, that we partake of the Lord's Supper. We do this. It's our mandate. It's our command until the Lord's return. And then hopping over to John's Gospel, chapter 13, Jesus is going to wash the feet of his disciples. And picking up in verse 4 of chapter 13, he says, so he got up from the table where they're partaking of their meal, and he took off his robe, he wraps a towel around his waist and poured water into a basin. Then he began to wash the disciples' feet and drying them with the towel that he had around them. And of course, when he gets to Simon Peter, Peter's like, you're not going to wash my feet. And Jesus says, I have to. And of course, Simon being Simon goes, well, then wash my whole body. Jesus says, that's not what this is about. It's not about being cleansed on the outside. It's about what this means to follow my example. In verse 14 of chapter 13, he says, and since I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet. I have given you an example to follow. Do as I have done to you. And I tell you the truth, slaves are not greater than their master, nor is their messenger more important than the one who sends the message. Now that you know these things, God will bless you for doing them. So Jesus saying, I'm giving you this example, this mandate, this command to serve one another. And then not only that, he goes on later in the chapter to say, love each other just as I have loved you. Why? Because your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples. And so for us, church, let us go into this Thursday and into the rest of our Holy Week thinking about those two commands. One, to remember Christ's death, the price he paid, especially as we partake of the Lord's Supper. And then also to love one another and to be servants, to serve one another. And that the world looking on will know that we are in fact his because of the love that we have for one another. So I will see, this will be the last of our videos for this week. And I look forward to being with you as we remember Good Friday, and then of course celebrating on Easter Sunday. So God bless you, and I hope to see you soon.